Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the channel. I'm extremely excited today. We just had the reveal for this year's Battlefield 2042. This is set in the future. It looks amazing. There's so many things I'm excited for with this game, and it has finally been revealed. With it being revealed though, I actually got to sit down at a private event with DICE LA last week with a bunch of other creators, and we got to tune in and listen to and talk to the devs about a bunch of big things coming with Battlefield 2042 in October when the game does come out. Battlefield has kind of been out of the scene for a little bit right now, but there's honestly some big things being promised with this game, and I got a lot of high expectations. And I really do think it could spice up the FPS scene right now because it's a little bit on the dry side, I guess you could say. So with that being said, we got a bunch of details to discuss today regarding Battlefield 6, Battlefield 2042, and hopefully you all enjoy. Sit back, relax, enjoy. I got some Battlefield 1 gameplay in the background, and let's dive on deep because there's so much to get into. So just to start things off, this year's Battlefield is going to have no campaign mode. It's going to be strictly based on multiplayer. At the event, they were expressing that they want to do things based and focused on what they feel like they do best. And to be honest, a campaign will be missed by some, but I'm sure they'll make up for it in other ways by delivering like literally the best multiplayer experience possible. Because I feel like for the longevity of the game, in any game nowadays, it always comes down to the multiplayer. And they're going to be treating Battlefield as a live service title, just like some of the most successful games out there right now are doing, like Apex, Warzone, Fortnite. That's the model they're approaching Battlefield 2042 with. And it's exciting because it actually means this game is going to go the distance if executed properly. So in terms of how the game is going to run as a live service, it's probably going to operate just like most battle royale concept games kind of run at the moment, like Warzone and Apex. But just to get the elephant out of the room, there is no plans for Battlefield 2042 battle royale. There is some exciting other things though that we're going to get into, which is why I'm honestly okay with that at the moment. But yeah, battle pass stuff and free content throughout the year, what you would normally expect. So Battlefield 2042 is the next gen of Battlefield. I wanted to give you guys the game's description quoted because I feel like it's going to do it the most justice. Powered by cutting edge technology that pushes the capabilities of the next generation hardware, the game drops players into a near future all-out war experience that includes the franchise's hallmark: game changing destruction, featuring matches, get this, filled with up to 128 players on the latest consoles and PCs. This is going to be phenomenal. 128 players in a single match is going to be literally insane. It's literally all out war. But this game is coming out, Battlefield 2042, on new gen consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, PC, and old gen. Now the big worry was that they weren't going to they were going to hold back on the newer platforms because of these older consoles, but that's not the case here. 128 players on all new gen because it's new gen hardware that they're taking advantage of, and PC. But older consoles like PlayStation 4 and Xbox will have 64 all-out war experiences. They said other than the player count, the experience is the exact same. It doesn't take away from any of the crazy things that go on during your matches. It's just 64 players instead of 128. So it's no surprise at this point. It's pretty obvious the game is set in the year 2042 and the world's on the brink. There's shortages of food, energy, clean water. They're kind of portraying it to tell a story through a live service game. One game I really like to compare it to is Apex. Apex does a phenomenal job at telling a story through a live service game. That's kind of where they're going with this. Like I said, shortages on food, energy, clean water. It's led to dozens of failed nations and it's created the greatest refugee crisis in human history. This is pretty tragic. Among these non-patrioted or no-pats are families, farmers, engineers, and even soldiers. Amidst the crisis, the United States and Russia draw the world into an all-out war. No-pat specialists join both sides, no fighting for a flag, but for the future of the non-patrioted in this new world. I don't know if any of y'all watch Naruto or anime, but this literally reminds me of the Fourth Great Ninja War where the alliance had to be made. And it's literally everybody against the world, everybody fighting for the world at this point. It sounds cool. But like I said earlier, there is no campaign. This is multiplayer. It's focused on multiplayer, and Battlefield 2042 is focused on telling a story through that experience. So we got 3 multiplayer modes that we know of right now. One is to be announced, which we'll find out on July 22nd at EA Play Live, but we know the first 2, And once again, they've confirmed there is no battle royale, but one of these gets me really excited, and it's honestly a multiplayer experience that I think once again is going to really freshen up the FPS scene right now, because it's getting kind of stale with all the same stuff that we keep getting from everybody. First up, we get All Out Warfare. This is the spin-off of Conquest and Breakthrough. It's going to be the 128-man games. Crazy all-out war experiences. There's going to be stuff going on during the games in the environment. Crazy tornado, like there's tornadoes that fly around the maps. There's sandstorms that fly around on other maps. It all depends on the map, but it's crazy interactive, and it's 128 people. Like, come on. But next up, we have Hazard Zone. This is the mode that's got me really, really excited, because I think it's got big potential for like some serious competitive play too. Hazard Zone is an all-new high-stakes squad-based game type for Battlefield franchise. It's a modern take on the multiplayer experience that is distinctly DICE, but very different from an all-out Warfare's Conquest or Breakthrough mode. So it's not going to be as crazy as like the 128-man crazy all-out war experiences, but I think it's going to be more squad-based, more strategic, really slow play, cover each other's backs. It kind of gives me Valorant vibes, but I don't think it's going to be as penalizing as Valorant. Like, you're not going to get one-shotted to the head. I don't think you are, at least. So those are the first two modes that we know of, but the third mode once again is to be announced, but they did say that it's going to be a love letter to Battlefield fans, and it's going to really make old-time Battlefield members and players feel like they're right at home. So I don't know what that could be exactly. Maybe it's just a little tribute to them, but I'm sure it's going to be good. Now, at the event, they did give us a look at the maps that are going to be coming with Battlefield 2042, and we got 7 here so far. And I'm glad they went with 7, because 6 is just like that. It's just a fine line, you know, like seven's that much nicer. Now, one more thing I forgot to mention is that obviously 128 people is a lot of players in a game. And when on the older consoles, there's only going to be 64. The maps are going to scale accordingly to the 64 player count size, so that this way the maps don't play out awkwardly. Like 64 people in a 128-man map would be ridiculous. Like, it just wouldn't flow properly. So they'll scale those down as well on the older consoles. But we got Kaleidoscope. This one's in South Korea. Honestly, it looks really cool. It's a big city. I just like blue skies and baby blue water. A little bit of green space as well. Looks cool. Next up, we got Manifest. This map is set in Barani Island in Singapore. This map's cool. They said during the event that there's like these cranes throughout the map, because it's at like a shipyard, and you can actually pick up and move the crane. So it's like an interactable map, I guess you could say. It's pretty cool. Next up, we got Orbital, set in Kourou, French Guiana. This is a map basically set on a rocket launch site. There's the rocket here. This is also kind of interactive. They said this rocket takes off at some point during the match, and it can either take off or there are other outcomes, if you kind of tell where I'm going with that. There's like a bridge leading up into the rocket as well, so it's kind of like focused around that, and there's different levels of play from there. Next up, we got the map Discarded. This is set in Alang, India. This is honestly probably one of the least interesting maps that I saw out of the bunch that they did show us. It just didn't catch my eye as much as others, but you know, you got the ship there. There's a lot of dirt. It's a very rustic feel on the map, and I don't really got anything else to say about it. Next up, we got Renewal. This is set in the Eastern Desert in Egypt. This map is cool. I really like this one. It's one of my favorites. I just like how it's like cut in half. You got the desert, you got the green, and I just like bright space. I'm gonna be on. I like sun, and if there's sun on a map, I'm all about it. But it's strange because on the green side you have an agriculture technology center, and I guess the way the map's gonna work is you got the desert half of the war, and you got the green side of the war, and they kind of go at it. It literally looks like a war, just the way the map looks. So now this next map, Hourglass, this is another one of those maps with the crazy environmental factor, I guess you could say. It's got a sandstorm that blows out throughout the match, just like the Korea-based map has the tornado that kind of flows throughout the city. These are both cities. This has a really big metropolis in the background, and then we got the desert front here, but this is probably one of the bigger maps I think that they have out of the bunch. It's big, but it's not as big as the next map, which is Breakaway. This map is actually ginormous. There is the whole mountain base, which you can obviously fight and operate off of, which can be skydived off of, which is pretty cool. And then the whole other battlefield is elsewhere, all around the mountain, all down below the mountain. It's actually ginormous, but it's set in Queen Maud Land, Antarctica, and the struggle over oil and gas that push the soldiers to the brink as the industry clashes with nature and ice gives away. That's kind of the story of the map. So that's all the maps. There's honestly quite a nice bunch off the start of the game. I'm glad they went with 7 instead of 6. I think it's just like the right amount, especially with how big these maps are going to be. Honestly, there's so much to explore. 7 maps in Battlefield is going to equate to like 14 maps in a game like Call of Duty. Now, this next part is the part that I'm most excited about to talk about in this video, and this is the introduction of specialists in Battlefield 2042. Now, right now, we only know of 4 specialists, but they're inspired by the 4 traditional Battlefield classes. So you got your sniper, your assault, your support, and your medic. But when the game launches, there's going to be 10 total specialists. Like I said, we just only know of 4 specialists at the moment. The thing I really like about this is that they kind of branched off from how regular Battlefield works, where if you pick a class, you're locked into a specific weapon type with your specific abilities. And they found that most people choose a class more so based on the weapon rather than a unique niche situational ability that you only use every so often. So in the future now in Battlefield 2042, you can choose whatever class you want and you can kit them out with whatever weapons you want. So if you choose the first specialist we got here, whose name is Casper, you can operate with any weapons that you want. He's a sniper based character. He's very recon based, you know, motion detectors, figuring out where people are with his drone ability. But you can use an assault rifle on him, an SMG. You can use anything you want. But yeah, Casper, he's a recon character. Probably not hard to tell by the way he looks. He's got an OVP recon drone to detect out enemies, and he's got a movement sensor as his trait. So each specialist has a specialty and a trait. So next up, we got Webster McKay. He's the assault class, and his specialty is a grappling hook. It reminds me of Pathfinder from Apex. He's going to be able to shoot this thing, take heights, you know, just maneuver the terrain very easily, and his trait is nimble. Maria Falk, she is the support class. She got a specialty S21 Cyrite pistol. This is going to allow you to shoot teammates and heal them from range without actually having to be on them to pick them up. Really cool. And her trait is combat surgeon. And then we got Pyotr Boris Augustovsky. I just wanted to say the full name, I'm going to be honest. He's Russian class. He's an engineer, and his specialty is the SG-36 sentry gun. So that's for the classes. Once again, the game's going to launch with 10. And that's kind of all the main juice, meat, and potatoes of Battlefield 2042. The weapons and vehicle system is really cool as well. I'll touch on it quickly. There's a call-in tablet system that allows you to request in vehicles to any spot on the map in this game, which is going to be super cool. I'm not the biggest fan of vehicles in general. I just like boots on ground. But there's the new plus system as well. And this is where things get really, really interesting. You can customize your weapons, your attachments, everything about the loadout that you're currently carrying in game on the go. So if I'm carrying an AR, or let's say I'm carrying a sniper and I enter a building and I know it's going to be more chaotic in there, I can change stuff out to get an SMG equipped so this way I can go ballistic with my boys in there without having to quick scope people. It just makes the loadout system more diverse. You can cater to each situation, and the focus is kind of on your specialist that you choose and your abilities. But yeah, that's all the details I got for y'all on Battlefield 2042. Actually, wait, they did say throughout the first year, there's going to be 4 battle passes. And with the battle passes, we'll get new specialists. I think we'll get new maps. I'm assuming we'll get new maps. Don't quote me on that. But I know we're getting new specialists with each battle pass and all that jazz. Just want to throw that out there. Just to give you an idea of how the game is going to operate. Because once again, post-launch is what's really critical for games to survive nowadays. So yeah, that's all. Thank you, Dice LA, for having me out to the event and being able to share all these details with me, for me to share with my audience. I appreciate you guys. But if you guys enjoyed the video and you made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like, especially if you want to see more. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care. Peace out.